We talk about losses, and some people, it's $1,000. For some, it might be several million. And it doesn't really matter the amount, because I reflect on the widow's mite. And all these wealthy people are putting money on the altar, and she walks up and puts the widow's mite. And it represented everything. And I sense there will be those that are watching this who have put everything on the line. Something's happened either with their health or their business, or perhaps spending habits that were inappropriate, a divorce. All kinds of things could happen to get them to this place. But everything's on the altar. It's all gone. With a credit report, with a low score, the inability to buy a new car or even a used car, the inability to refinance a house if it's necessary, or to buy a house, or to even rent an apartment. In some employment situations, perhaps where credit might be taken into consideration. So many places where people are affected. It doesn't matter how big it was in comparison to someone else. It is for them the worst thing that can happen in terms of functioning in the world, in terms of finances. It's for those people that I wanted to come on the camera. To let them know that there are those of us who know what it feels like to pace the floor at night, to put your wife to bed and the children to bed, and to be sometimes pleading with God for deliverance, if you will, asking for an answer, and then somehow through some miracle find a Lexington and have them do what they do to clean up a credit report so that we can get back on our feet. It's for those people that I came on the camera. There's rarely a week that goes by in working with my clients that I don't find one who's had this challenge and doesn't know where to go. And it's always very exciting to share with them my personal experience and to encourage them to get on the website as quickly as they can and sign up for the service. Now the service, when you look at the price, I still wondered, this was 12 years ago when I did this. And it was relatively inexpensive back then. And I went, how can they do this? And they did. Relatively small fee up front, and then a monthly fee as the services are performed. 5, 6, 7, 8 months in the process, maybe as much as a year. We all know we didn't get into this problem overnight, so it might take a few months to dig back out of it. But at the end of that period of time, I was able to refinance a house. We had financed it on owner financing. It's the only way we could buy the house. We used my wife's 3.01 investment quality diamond ring, for what it's worth, for the down payment. So there was a huge sacrifice to get into it, and then the owner financed the balance, and the balloon payment was coming due. We had an old car that was just about worn out, and we needed to replace that car. And we're able to refinance that house. We're able to buy a car. And as importantly, I have the opportunity to use a piece of music that you may be listening to right now while I'm talking, that was written by my son, who just received his PhD in mechanical engineering. It was in that same year that we bought our grand piano, on which this song was recorded. What this did for us was bring music into our home, a vehicle to drive, a home that we had in our own name, with our own loan. These things are possible. That's the reason why I'm here. Is for those of you who are watching this who are in that kind of challenge and that kind of struggle. You may think your credit's the worst that it possibly could be, worse than anyone else. Call them. They'll talk to you. They'll tell you whether they think they can help you. And if they can, the fees are so reasonable, the time frame is relatively short, and there can be sunlight again in your life. This is a no-brainer. There's a great secret in life, and that is it's now. We're watching this, it's now. And 10 minutes from now, it'll still be now. And 7 months from now, it'll still be now. The only difference between what will be available to you now, 7 months from now, is whether you take action today. So I would plead with you to do that and take some of that pressure off. Trust the process and the people involved.